For those of you who know me, you know that I really like bears. And one of my favorite movies that involves bears is The Revenant.
Mine's Brother Bear.
And The Revenant is a great movie, came out a few years ago with Leonardo DiCaprio. And also, one of the great side characters in that movie was Tom Harty. If you remember him, he was kind of the bad dude who ended up getting shot.
He's also in Mad Max.
He's a great actor, Tom Harty is overall. And needless to say, we are super thankful to have with us on the show today
His son.
That's where I was going with that. Luke Harty is with us. WLC men's soccer player Luke Harty is in the building.
The man, the myth,
the legend.
Legend of WLC soccer.
Oh, Luke, welcome to Sports Desk. We're so happy to have you on tonight's show.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I definitely was trying to get on the show for a bit now, but couldn't be able to squeeze it in.
No, man, you've been busy with soccer and getting hurt, so we'll talk about that later. But first, sports.
Sorry, that was bad.
I think it sounded fine. In the world of Major League Baseball today, the Minnesota Twins won. Are you done? The Twins won, but they've been sucking even more lately than they did last week when I went on that rant. But they finally won today, thanks to Byron Buxton, my favorite player, going 5 for 5. My goodness. What a stud.
For those of you baseballers who don't know or non-baseballers who don't know what that means every time he was up to bat, he hit the ball.
For a hit. He didn't get out. 5 at bats, 5 hits. So, he's a fast little guy, and my car is actually named after him.
A little speedy bugger.
Yeah. New York Mets pitcher Jacob deGrom has pitched 29 innings this year and has only given up 4 earned runs, 13 hits. That's absolutely incredible. He's definitely a Cy Young candidate for sure, which is given to the best pitcher in baseball. Luke, do you follow baseball a lot?
I don't follow it per se, but I used to work at Miller Park doing accounting stuff, so I definitely know a bit. Got to watch a little bit. I was also neighbors with one of the Brewers players too, so I got to see just a little bit of inside of how they are personally.
Which brewer was it?
It was.
Or
Ben
can you
Gamel.
not disclose that info?
No, it doesn't matter. He moved away, but
he got
yeah,
cut.
it was Ben Gamel at that time,
Mm.
looking like a true Game of Thrones character with a big bushy beard and long hair.
Yeah,
I see
I
you guys
remember
are trying to represent him well too.
Yeah, that's such a cool experience, though, I'm sure. We got a few comments right off the bat about our friend Skyler, for those of you who don't notice. Carson says, all in favor of Sky's ponytail say aye. Benjamin Bateman replies with aye, kinda. Ooh, your first hater.
That's okay. I'm used to it. I embrace the hate.
As you should. Yeah. Oh, Harrison says, 3+1 studs on the stream today. Shout out to Maddie's earrings. Harrison, you stole my thunder. Yes. I am wearing an exclusive line of Be Bold Creatives earrings. These are not clip-ons. This is the real deal.
Jake pierced his ear for this very moment.
Pierce my ear for this show. So for those of you who want a nice quality pair of clay earrings, go follow Be Bold Creatives. Reach out to Maddie Krause. She makes them handcrafted, high quality, great prices. They're great earrings. I think I might end up piercing my other one because I love this one so much. So that's all we have on the earring situation. But Skylar's hair, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
It's a work in progress, we'll say.
It really is. Yeah, almost there. So, moving on to the NBA. Can someone say on fire?
Fire.
Minnesota Timberwolves have won 3 straight games, albeit against sucky teams. 3 straight games, though, that's probably a franchise record. We've now 19-44. It's not too bad.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah. Luke, tell us a little bit about your basketball interest. Do you have a favorite team? Have you ever played?
Oh my gosh, yes. All right, so yeah, the Milwaukee Bucks obviously is my favorite team, just being from Milwaukee. But the only time I ever played, I was mainly a one-sport athlete, so just playing soccer the rest of my life, basically. And then one time I attempted to play basketball. It was like in middle school. And throughout the entire season, I scored 2 baskets, and that was it. I remember them plain as day.
Were they 3-point shots?
No. I was not that player, but I would just mainly drive to the bucket and then try to get a layup or two. But I was definitely getting packed quite a bit when I was younger. I was just a small kid.
Sounds like you got at least 2 layups, scoring 2 baskets.
Yeah.
Yeah, watching little kids play basketball is like track ball, basically. Like you throw the ball up and then you chase it down.
Did Luke ever play with us on intramurals or against us?
On intramurals, he watched us, basically.
Oh,
I don't think... You
bench
never
player.
stopped in, did you?
No, maybe once or twice I played with you guys when you guys really needed it. But the only other time I played was with the soccer team. That was just horrible. It was a horrible team, but first play of the game, I get the ball, chuck a 3 up, and just absolutely cashed it out. So it was a crazy start to the game.
So
You talk about striking fear in your opponents. My goodness, get Luke Harty on your team. A LeBron James rookie card just sold for a record $5.2 million. Crazy.
Do you know Luke? Do you know anyone who like deals cards at all, or like invests in those kinds of things, like that hobby itself?
No, not sports cards. Actually, I do. Evan Swantek's dad was a big baseball cards guy, and he said that, I'm not too sure if I can disclose it, but he bought a few things that were of high worth through trading cards. So he's actually pretty intense with it, but that's pretty cool that like he like would rate them and get them all mint condition and then like be able to sell them or like hold them on for a while until they're worth selling them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an uncle or a cousin who actually does that, where he'll look for like some really like rare cards that are out there, and then he'll buy them or like buy super low and then sell super high, kind of a thing, kind of like you're like trading stocks or something.
Yeah.
I would have to think that LeBron card there was a one of a kind, because I know he's a great player, but 5.2 million, I mean, that's
pretty crazy.
That's like twice as much as my house is
That's
worth.
like senior year of high school for LeBron that there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
insane.
It's got to be signed though, right?
Maybe that's it. I didn't actually click on the link, I just saw it. I'm not doing thorough enough research, I apologize. Yeah. After you, sir. Hey, it's all you.
I was just gonna bring up the Boston Celtics. I think I've won like 3 of their last 5, which is pretty great.
Let's go.
Against like tough competition. The ones that the 2 games that they did lose has been like super super close, like within 10. So
Nice.
yeah.
It's always nice to field a competitive team. Wonder what that's like.
Yeah.
The Dallas Mavericks destroyed Golden State yesterday by 30 points after Dallas went on a 28-0 run. My goodness.
It was like in the third quarter, like 103 to like 48 or something like that.
Crazy.
Wasn't even close.
That's sad. That's
Real
sad.
question for you guys though, like, do you think that Golden State will ever be able to go back to what they used to be? Like being a finalist team every single year, and it was almost unfair, but
Yeah.
it seems like they're kind of diminishing in their level of play.
I think in regards to that, because they've been dealing with a lot of injuries and inconsistencies with like players, that it'll be a bit before they're able to get back on their feet in that aspect. I mean, like Klay Thompson has been out for how long now? Like over a year, I'd say, right?
Yeah, is it ACL that he's nursing?
Yeah, I think so. And it was coming close to the finals that he hurt it, or it was in playoffs. And I think it might have even been against Toronto.
Okay. Because they had talent. I mean, they still have talent, but their big name guys just get hurt. Like you see that Steph has played in like half as many as other people who played in every game like this season so far, but like he still leads the league in 3 points.
He's been on fire.
So he's playing out of his mind, but he's the only guy that's carrying the team right now. And obviously you can't have a team with just one guy. I mean, even if you're LeBron James, like you see that when it was just him on the Lakers, he didn't have much to work with and they sucked.
Got
But
Draymond Green.
they're slowly building now. They're on the rise, and I think that's one thing that Golden State needs is they're going to be on the rise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever going to get back to where they were back in like 16, but I think they're going to improve. I mean, I know they were really bad last year, and I don't know. I don't think they're going to be like what they were though. to answer the question.
Yeah, and they just got rid of D'Angelo Russell to your beautiful Minnesota Timberwolves.
That's probably why we've won 3 in a row. Only won 19 out of our 63 games. But hey.
Gosh.
That's so crazy. Like, to play as many games as you do and to lose as many games as they did.
I'm going to look up
they have.
Yeah, I'm going to look up the official stats, but I do know the Minnesota Timberwolves hold the record for the worst all-time record for an American professional sports team. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's not good. But we're a young franchise founded in 1989. That's not that bad.
In other news, the Brooklyn Nets clinch a playoff spot, which is pretty huge. I don't know. Did you put any hockey on here?
I did.
Because I know that the Wild have clinched a playoff spot, too.
Groovy.
Oh, you didn't even have that on there.
No.
Yeah, the Wild clinched a playoff spot, which is super crazy. I mean, Minnesota sports teams don't usually do that.
Did it happen after like 10 a.m.?
No.
It wasn't on ESPN.
It's happened like last week or something.
Well, that's misleading.
You find it yet?
No.
Maybe we can double check with Scott. Maybe Scott's on.
Scott, what is the Minnesota Timberwolves all-time record, and why is it so bad? I can just Google all-time record.
Other NBA news: the Bucks beat Charlotte 114-104 not in Milwaukee. Was it in Milwaukee?
It was not.
Either way, they are 38-23, which is pretty solid. I mean, since coming to school here in Milwaukee, I've grown to actually like keep tabs on the NBA just a little bit more. I mean, like Celtics are my number 1 team. I'd say the T-Wolves are number 2, but the Bucks are like number 3. They're the only NBA team that I've seen live. So like getting to see Giannis was super, super cool. And they actually played against the Knicks back when Kristaps Porzingis played for them. Mm-hmm. And so seeing that Porzingis and Giannis matchup was pretty solid. That was also the game that
we were there.
Porzingis like tore his ACL or something like that. Or sprained his knee or whatever and was out for like the rest of the season. So that was kind of a bummer for him. But it was cool for us to like be able to witness that.
I do have the Timberwolves all-time record here. In 32 seasons, they are 995 and 1,539 for a 39.3% winning percentage, which is bad. All right. Scott, I am better than you. Jonathan Wardell says, wow, it's not often that you encounter 3 goats in their natural habitat.
The penthouse, he means.
Carthan says, if you don't love Giannis, you are wrong. Wrong about what? That's a yes or no thing. Yeah. Interesting.
Huh.
NFL news, baby. Luke, I don't know how much you follow NFL news or what's happening in the league, but Carolina Panthers just traded their quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, who used to play for the Vikings, to the Denver Broncos today in exchange for a 6th-round pick. So Teddy Two Gloves is on to the Mile High City. The Bucks. I thought you were going to elaborate on that statement, but you didn't. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers today re-signed wide receiver Antonio Brown to a 1-year, $3.1 million deal. Brown played with them last year. He's 32 years old. But after this next year, he'll be 33. Luke, does that sign
contract like in the NFL? I know a lot about soccer, but like
who's got the biggest contract?
Well, yeah, like I mean, like what was the highest paying contract that anybody has signed in the NFL?
Mahomes, right? Was it Patty?
I think it's either Mahomes or Rodgers.
Really?
Let's see.
And I don't think it's Rodgers, though.
I'll look it up again because Scott's not doing anything.
Is it usually QBs, though, that are like the breadwinners of the teams?
Yep, it's usually like your QBs. I mean, obviously they have like one of the highest stress roles, like high risk, high reward kind of a role on the team, and a lot rides on their shoulders. And so you want a guy that does well, and so you're going to pay him well.
Right, that makes sense.
All right. Let's see here. Patrick Mahomes signed a 10-year deal worth $503 million. And this was July of last year. That's a lot of money to put in one deltoid. That's ridiculous.
That's insane. Yeah.
I think they calculated that to like over the next 10 years, he's making $1.60 per second. I think.
That's so ridiculous. Like I can't even like fathom making that kind of money.
That's like the dollar menu every second.
Imagine being players though that like they want to stay loyal to a team or a franchise, and then all of a sudden you start receiving these insane offers to sign on for millions upon millions of dollars. It makes you like sit and wonder, like, oh, like it tests your loyalty a bit.
It really
kind of
does.
pushes you.
Yeah.
It also makes me wonder how like much they're going to be able to build a team based off of or based around having that like kind of a salary.
That's
and
a lot
like
of
with
money.
salary caps and whatnot.
Right.
Because I mean, obviously you can't pay everyone that kind of money, and like you kind of pay for what you get when it comes to like players. And so I mean, they're paying quarterbacks high, but you're gonna have to either restructure someone somewhere along the lines if you want to like retain super high caliber players. So
yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's got to be a team friendly deal. I'm sure it's not all guaranteed, so that you can have that money to sign other players in the future and build a team around him so you can contend. You got the NFL draft coming up. First round is tomorrow night at 7:00 Central. A lot of people trying to figure out, especially I feel, what the 49ers are going to do in that number 3 spot. People are like, do they take Justin Fields, Trey Lance, both quarterbacks? First 2 spots are kind of a lock with Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. It's going to be interesting to see. Hopefully the Vikings don't mess this up. But we'll see.
I read somewhere that said that this guy feels very strongly the Vikings are going to pick a quarterback.
Do you think we do, though? Do you think if Fields slips to 14, do you take Justin Fields over a lineman?
They might. If they
What would
see,
you
like,
do?
If they see potential in him, quite possibly. I mean, he's mobile. Vikings have a historically bad offensive line.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you need a mobile guy.
And I mean, I don't know.
If you're in that situation, what would you pick?
Because I know kind of what we're working with, I would go with O-line.
Okay.
But I feel like knowing the Vikings, they hate linemen in drafts. So
I think they just hate success as a team. Yeah, it's tough. But Luke, I assume Packer fan?
Yeah, not a big one. I never really followed the NFL too much.
Okay.
But back when I was younger, I used to support the Bears just out of spite of my dad.
Nice.
So just to poke at my family every once in a while, I'd put up some Bears stuff and buy a Bears hoodie.
Yeah, dude, so he likes Bears too.
No, that was just purely a joke. It
is
was
it because of your father, Tom Harty? Yeah.
He watched the Revenant and was like, I love Bears.
All right, Luke, what is your dad's actual name?
Mark.
Mark Harty.
Mark Harty. Does he have a brother named Tom or any relative?
Any Bears in the family?
Well, too bad. So he doesn't sound like he's a diehard Packer fan. So what I'm hearing is there's a chance he could switch over to the good side and cheer for the Vikings.
No chance.
I mean, maybe if you guys are roommates, you can sway him.
I would use so much propaganda on him, it wouldn't even be funny.
He'd have no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will brainwash you into being a Viking fan.
Did we get a few more comments that we haven't addressed yet?
We do, and one of them will kind of jump ahead to where we're going, but hey, might as well tackle it now. Going back to the Patrick Mahomes thing, Ben Bateman says $503 million is a bit more than I have, that's for sure.
It's a bit more than I'll have in my entire life.
I'd say.
Sure.
Scott Christensen says, hi, this is TJ, and I'm getting a man bun. Your dad is throwing shade at you. And lastly, I want to address Jonathan Wardell's comment saying he watched the live stream of your guys' game, men's soccer that is, versus MSOE. Tough to watch you lose that way, but you guys had a great tournament. Luke, can you just kind of explain a little bit what happened that game?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it would start off with the beginning of the season, though. It started off pretty well, just going. I think we won 3 in a row, and really was just like kicking the season off until. And then we ended up hitting this huge rough patch when it started up against Marion. We walked into the game against Marion pretty soft and lost to them quite convincingly. And then went on to a 3-game losing streak, which was horrible to see. But before that, I got injured against Lakeland. I was basically blindside hit from a person and thought I broke my neck and had to be brought into the emergency room. and that was a scary experience. So I was out for quite a few games of the season with a concussion, and then getting back into it, I got to start playing again, and we went to Concordia, Wisconsin in the playoffs, and ended up beating them in overtime with Aiden's goal. It was an absolutely insane goal. Unfortunately, that game I got injured again
Luke.
and strained my hamstring quite badly. So then I missed celebrating with the team and everything. And then that led us to the MSOE game, which is the Northern NAC Finals. And it was a hard-fought game. Just overall, it was back and forth, really exciting match. We had a lot of chances and arguably should have scored multiple goals that game, but we didn't. So then we went to double overtime and still was tied throughout double overtime and went to penalty kick shootouts. And I remember first shot of the game, it was Aiden, and Aiden again hits an absolute world-class penalty shot. And then the goalkeeper of their team takes a penalty shot, skies it, and we were absolutely clowning him. Absolutely clowning this kid. And you would have thought that he would have just, played terrible the rest of the time. But the next penalty kick, he just makes an absolute worldie of a save and basically carries his team to beat us in penalty kick shootouts, which was heart-wrenching to say the least, because it would have been the first time ever that WLC men's soccer would have won a conference championship. So it was heart-wrenching knowing that I could have helped to play against them and wasn't able to play. And then on top of that, we didn't have our top striker playing, which is Jason Kano. And then, just overall, just really disappointing.
Now, for those of you who don't know, including myself, the game ended in a 0-0 tie, but you lost via penalty kicks. How does that work?
Yeah. So usually during the season, it would just end in a tie, and each team would receive a point instead of 3 points for a win or 0 points for a loss. But since it's playoffs, there has to be a winner of the game. So when it's tied through one overtime, which is 10 minutes of play, and then a second overtime, which is another 10 minutes of play, it has to go to penalty kick shootouts. And each team has 5 shots, and whoever comes out of this, the penalty kick shootouts with the most goals, or at the end of the 5 shots, will win, unless you miss multiple, which we did at this occasion. Then they would score, and our goalkeeper had to save one, or we would have to beg the rest. But
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Quick question for you, Luke. In those overtime periods, those 10-minute overtime periods, is that a sudden death, or do you play the full 10 minutes?
Yeah. So it is a sudden death, and that's actually how we beat Concordia, Wisconsin, was a free kick in the first overtime play. Mm-hmm. And Aiden just absolutely smashes the free kick in to the side netting, and it was instant win for us. And if you watch the videos over again, I'm sure you can look on Twitter and a bunch of other platforms.
That's a great kick.
I've seen it a few times.
Yeah, so you'll see the entire team just flood the field, and we just went to the fans and just going crazy. And we have some pictures of my coach just the faces that he was making. It was insanely funny. But
you said this was against CU Dub, right?
Yeah, and
so that's a rivalry game, and that's huge.
Take it, CU Dub.
Especially against Concordia, Wisconsin, soccer. I don't know how they are for any other sports, but soccer, they are just, I don't know. They are just arrogant, and they would spit on you if they could. They think of us as such little of a team, and I remember going up to the game, and they weren't even starting their actual starters that would usually play, and it was just so insulting how they would treat us, and they would give us such little respect. And that's honestly one of the biggest motivators to always just try to beat them, and just even if we don't beat them, just give them just one hell of a game and
exactly
make it a tough one.
That is super similar to how it is with football. I mean, they don't pull starters or anything, but I mean, if any of you guys remember, we had a 1-point loss off of like a 2-point conversion to CU Dub this year, and it was an absolutely close game, hard fought battle too. And I just remember I went in at one point because we were dealing with some injuries, so I went in that corner. And the second play I was in there, they took a deep shot down their sideline. And I fortunately was able to break up the pass. And then like these guys know that I'm a punter and whatnot. And then they're like, oh yeah, we're going to be coming at you all day, blah, 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 blah. And I turned to their sideline and I was like, I'm the punter. And I ran back to like the line of scrimmage and got ready for the next play. But like, yeah, that was a good moment. Highlight my career right there. But yeah, they're just they're like really good competition. Because I mean, even our basketball game against them was absolutely phenomenal. Like men's and women's volleyball competes against them really well. Like it's like your old fashioned rivalry, and that's kind of what we play. And like for football, we play for a cup, a traveling cup that goes to like the winner, the loser, or well, the winner and not the loser. So
yeah, it's nice to have that rival.
Yeah, I guess, and like the one thing that like my coach said though too, like keep in mind is like we as WLC might think it's a rivalry, but since they don't respect us like at all, they probably don't even think it's a rivalry, just purely because they can walk into our games and think that they can win and think that they can just absolutely disrespect us. And that's like going into those games is almost like another like chip on your shoulder to like just absolutely go in, make it a difficult game for them, get stuck into tackles, or like make the game hard for them. And like, so we played them twice this past season, and we ended up tying them during the middle of the season.
Oh, you got it. You're good, Luke.
But one of the players ended up walking past our bench as he was getting subbed off, and was making a yawning like gesture, like he was like, oh,
really
yawning like that, and like he said something to our coach and it was derogatory in nature. And then like as he was like, he would tackle our players, he would stand over them and flex on them, like all of this stuff. And then ended like the game obviously ended in a tie, and he said a few choice words towards our coach again, which then forced their coach to grab him and force him to apologize at the end of the game. And apparently he still big timed our coach and just absolutely disrespected him. And I think genuinely that's probably the epitome and like envelops Concordia, Wisconsin as like players.
I think a game like that you guys just had against them can maybe help ignite maybe a rivalry from their end. You know, they're like, okay, we got to take these guys seriously, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And like thinking about it though, like WLC has never been great in soccer or men's soccer to begin with. And now since the past few years, we've been consistent in getting to playoffs. And even before the year before that, we were freshmen. They went to the conference finals that year. So like it's becoming something that is like developing, and our programs in general have been developing. I mean, even taking like, for example, our men's and women's basketball this year. Women's basketball has been absolutely dominant every single year, but men's basketball is just developing to be something that's like a lot better. And same thing with women's volleyball too, is they're conference champions, and it's insane to see like WLC growing in numbers, but then also getting better in sports. It's really cool to see and be part of that.
It really is. And I'm sure men's volleyball is on the cusp of that in the next few years as well.
I know men's football already has like...
Oh, not women's? I'm sorry.
I mean, we can come up with a women's team. I'll coach it. No, so the football team already has, I think Coach was saying today, we had our like end of the team party, or end of the year party, team party. And the coach was saying that there's going to be like at least 100 guys coming in. So like...
Coming in?
No, like returning.
Oh.
Returning and coming in. So there's going to be, I mean, to put it in perspective, I think we had maybe like 40 guys on the team this year. 40 or 50 guys, maybe 60.
Wow.
But there's going to be upwards of 100 guys.
That's kind of what it was one of our years here. I know there were like 100
sophomore
people.
year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Our sophomore year, there was a huge freshman class.
Yep.
And that's what it's looking like it's going to be again this next year, which is phenomenal. Like, it's great to see, but also you wonder, being all of us Res Life staff, how that's going to shape up.
Yeah, we're all RAs, so it's going to be filled next year. I want to say, I think Luke, we might have been talking about this. Is it a record class coming in next year?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think we were talking about that. It actually, I think they're projecting to beat out the past class, which was our sophomore year, the freshman of our sophomore year.
Right.
Yeah, they're projecting to beat it out, and I don't know, like hopefully like it adds to our sports teams, and obviously we can only do so much with the recruiting depending on who we can pick up and everything. I know for us for soccer, it's very dependent on what clubs are around us or what players are actually interested in the school and how we're recruiting.
Exactly.
So I don't know. It'll be
cool
interesting to see how like the domino effect of all sports teams.
It's pretty impressive too, just in the times that we're in right now, to be able to have a year where you have a record-breaking freshman class. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's really true.
We got a few comments we just want to reference here. Going back to a little bit ago, Scott Christensen says, "Hi, this is Araya. I already have a bun."
Araya's my little sister.
Jonathan Wardell says, "Puma is such a funny keeper." Puma is the freshman goalkeeper of the men's soccer team. He's my resident. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Honestly, like he actually just got off of 3 weeks in a row being honored by the NAC as the goalkeeper of the week. 3
That's
weeks
awesome.
in a row as a freshman. And I mean, like, not only just like looking at Puma though, like our class or like our team has like around, I think it's like 6 or 7 starting freshmen or first year soccer players. Like, and we only had, it was like me, Jason, and Aiden, who were the starters from previous years.
Mm-hmm.
So we basically had a huge clean slate. And it's just insane to see, like, oh my gosh, like they took this team to the conference finals. Like, imagine in the coming years what they can do.
Absolutely.
As they grow and develop. Like, that's insane.
They can definitely build from here, I think.
Yeah.
Jonathan says that Puma reminds him of Casper Schmeichel. And then also, CUW tennis is brutally strong, Jonathan says. They're slightly cocky.
Yeah.
Carson says, 100 football players? Yeah, that seems like too many.
Yeah, I mean, considering you only have 11 on the field at a time, yes.
That means 89% of the team won't even be playing at a time.
Yeah. So, like, our sophomore year, we had 68 freshmen on the football team.
Jeez.
That's just crazy.
That's insane.
Izzy says, nice specs, Luke.
I appreciate the compliment.
You are looking pretty spiffy with those specs on, my guy.
I appreciate
And then Rebecca Stavin says, women's football 2022.
I hear Becca's going to be the quarterback.
Yeah, I heard she's going to take the helm with the team. Speaking of someone taking the helm, I heard that the men's golf coach is on the hot seat.
Yes.
Darn near getting fired.
And I hear that they had a run-in with the pizza place that they went to at their most recent meeting.
Do tell. I will focus the camera on you and your bud.
You remember on my birthday when you took me to, like, Giordano's? Is that what
Yes,
it's called?
sir.
They attempted to go there and had like an hour-long wait for their pizza. Like, they're like, oh yeah, it'll be ready in like 50 minutes or so. And like, this is like authentic Chicago deep dish pizza.
It's pretty good.
And so he's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, I'll be there. They show up and they're like, oh no, 20 minutes later. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll come back in 20 minutes. Came back 20 minutes. And they're like, oh, it'll be about like another 15 more minutes or so. And so at this point, he was like fed up with it and like felt more bad for like his guys, like his players that he was trying to feed than he did for like the situation itself.
Yeah.
But, it's just one of those situations.
That's tough.
Out of your control.
Did they end up getting the pizza?
They did get the pizza. The guys absolutely loved it. So I hear. But
That's probably what saved his job for another week.
yeah, pizza.
You think if those guys didn't get their pizza, that team would mutiny against him?
True.
You're lucky.
You're a lucky man.
You're lucky. Watch out, though. We're going to change gears a little bit to other WLC sports. Baseball just won 3 of 4 games against Lakeland this past weekend, proving their record to 11-20. They've actually won quite a bit lately and are still in the mix, I believe, for clinching a playoff spot, but a lot of things have to go their way.
Yeah, as Justin was saying, I mean, I don't know if any of you guys recall, we had Justin on a few weeks ago. All of the games that they've lost have been super, super close games. Like, they've been competitors and all. It's just a matter of, like, finishing those games. And right now, they're finding a way to do that, which is great.
And the game that they lost this weekend, they were up 7-2, going into the top of the 9th, ended up losing, I believe, 10-8. So they were those happen. You give the games away, but they're playing pretty well. They play 4 games this weekend against Edgewood, and I think their season goes well into May. So they play about 40 games total. So they've got about 10ish or so games, including or in addition to maybe some playoffs too. You got softball 11-23 on the year. They, on the other hand, just lost 3 or 4 games to Lakeland this past weekend. And they have senior day on Friday against Alverno. They play 4 games this weekend against them.
Yeah, and WLC women's tennis has won 3 straight.
Nice. Go Sandia.
As far as I know, it's 3 straight currently. Maybe we can have Coach Wardell confirm or deny that for us.
Yeah, please do.
But yeah, they've been on a little bit of a hot streak there, which is absolutely phenomenal.
And men's soccer is not done with their season. They do have one more. Is it an exhibition game, Luke, would you say, on Monday?
Yeah, it's definitely friendly. It's going to be something that people who didn't have the time to play during the season will be able to get to play.
That's
now,
cool.
Is your hamstring going to be like up to game speed by that time, or are you just sitting this one out?
Yeah, it'll be a while until I'm back. They're predicting about a 4 to 6 week time for me to heal. It's a pretty bad strain this time around. So I've never had anything muscular wise like this too. So.
Luke, is there any way you'd be willing and able to show that picture to the viewers on your phone?
Sure.
Please do. Jonathan Wardell does confirm, by the way, women's tennis has won 3 in a row.
Nice.
He said it with Colts, though, so I don't know if he's being sarcastic. Maybe they had moral victories. I don't know.
No, actually, they do doubles and stuff. From what Twitter was saying.
Okay.
And we have 2 girls that are pretty solid. They're a pretty good duo.
Love to see it. All right. Wow. Look at that color.
That's a hamstring.
That is Luke's hamstring, man. You see those purple hues and the yellow, and my goodness, you're like a Skittles. Bunch of colors.
Taste the rainbow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The trainers were saying that they haven't seen a hamstring like this in a while, and they jinxed it. So now
I was going to use.
Now I'm stuck with it. So.
Wow. So 4 weeks or so yet of healing for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is you're not going to be running races anytime soon.
No. Is there a race going to be had?
Well, I mean, I'm always down to race. I just like to run. Yeah. No, we wish you the best and your recovery from that gruesome looking injury. Does not sound fun. I know you also mentioned that neck injury you had earlier, so it's been a little rough season for you in terms of injuries, but you'll get better.
Yeah, it is what it is. At least I have another season to go, and hopefully we push it to the furthest it can be and take it to the finals again, I guess.
Jonathan Wardell says that he hasn't seen a hamstring like that either, and he can suddenly relate a lot to the WLC trainers.
Yes. They're lovely, though. They're honestly lovely people. They help out so much.
Do you have a favorite trainer, someone you love to go see?
Yes.
For one together? Is it
All
Matt?
right, you got to answer that though first. Who do you like?
Okay, mine's Andre.
Okay, fair. I definitely go to Matt all the time. Matt is my guy. Anytime that I go in there, we just kind of shoot the breeze and talk all the time. Even if I'm just in passing, I talk to him. He's a good guy.
That's awesome. How much more time do you have, Skyler? 38?
38. I got to get out of here pretty soon here.
Okay.
It's in the next 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. We got more WLC sports coming up on deck. Looks like more baseball, softball. Women's soccer concluded their season last week. Men's soccer concluded on Monday. Are you guys doing any football off-season stuff?
I mean, right now, yesterday was their first day of off-season workouts. They've got a few more days. Coach Maz Eitler, strength and conditioning coach, accepted a full-time position with Wisconsin Lutheran High School, and will be the strength and conditioning coach there full-time for all of their sports. So he's no longer going to be with the WLC football team, but he's moving on to things that he wants to do full-time now. So that's great for him.
And are you part of those off-season workouts or not because you're a senior?
Nope, I don't have to go to those. I'm doing my own thing right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so changes are coming, and
yeah.
I mean, I think the future of WLC football is looking pretty bright, and I mean, we can see that with a lot of other sports programs and teams that we have going on this year. So future is bright for us.
Future is bright for WLC. It's exciting to see what's going to happen with their programs in the future. Luke definitely was a part of that with soccer, and we appreciate you, Luke, taking time on your night to be on the show with us and for all of your wisdom.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Definitely was fun to be on.
Absolutely, and it was great to have you on, Luke. Have a great rest of your night, and we are going to get to our closing statement. Luke, catch you later, buddy.
All right, see ya.
That was Tom Harty's son, Luke, with his sports wisdom on this week's episode of Sports Desk, Soccer Extraordinaire. Next week, we got a Cinco de Mayo special coming your way.
Should be exciting.
It's going to be...
You can tell I'm thrilled.
It's going to be muy bien. So we're super excited about that. We got, I think, three maybe episodes left of this series of Sports Desk. So not season, the whole series. So stay tuned for the next week's episodes of Sports Desk. Skylar, you know what to do.
That is right. Now I'm going to go with Silly Rabbit. Sports Desk is for kids. Have a good night, y'all.